Hey everybody, thank you for joining again. This is Danielle Jennings and welcome to my vlog. So this week I'm so excited because I finally have a name. The name is The Exchange. The X is the small x that is used in algebraic equations, and it's going to be paired with the word change. So you have the exchange. So we're going to bring our sorrows, our disappointments, here, and we're going to exchange them for the opposite, the things that are going to power us. So I am so excited. I do look a little tired. I've been working on my chapter 2 of my dissertation, which was approved, but I still have another 15 to 20 page paper that I'm working on. So I took a break so that I can actually record this. So this week I do want to continue talking about self-love and that journey towards self-love, because I remember, when I was, going through this whole situation with dealing with the rejection and abandonment of my father, that it wasn't enough for somebody to say, oh, love yourself. If somebody would have told me that, I probably would have been like, oh, okay. But it takes more than that. So I wanted to, explore my feelings a little bit more, and, what I did, and share that so that it could help you as well. So when I was going through that time in my life, I was what I would call disabled. I was disabled because in my mind, all I could focus on was how I was rejected, how he didn't love me, what is wrong with me. Maybe I don't have, something that, someone else has. And it was just, it became obsessive because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And so instead of looking at the situation in a different light, I was really disabling myself. And during the point of me disabling myself, I was building up walls, because my whole point was, I'm not going to let nobody else hurt me like that. So I would build up walls. I would only let people get, close. You get close, but not everybody got that close. And that was my way of protecting myself, because I just did not know how to really cope with it. And in doing that, if I'm not sure if you've watched the movie Fences or seen the play, the thing about fences, which I'm comparing to walls, is that it can keep people in or it can keep people out. And the fact is, about a fence, it can become a very lonely place, a place of isolation, and that's really not where we're supposed to be. We need people. We need a village. We need, even if we don't have, hundreds of friends, we need a core group of people who we can rely on, because we can't do this thing called life by ourselves. And so I found my place at that, I don't know, that lonely place. And I needed to, in my mind, get out of it. And I really didn't know how to get out of it. And so one day I came to the realization that, you know what? There's nothing that I can do about my situation. There is nothing with me sitting here obsessing over everything that is negative about myself that's going to change the situation, that's going to make the situation better. So I decided that I was truly going to accept it. And in accepting it, I was saying, yes, the situation was bad, but it is no reflection on me as a person or an individual. That was his decision, but it had nothing to do with me. And I had to do the work to identify my strengths. I had to do the work to identify the things that I loved, that I liked, so that I no longer focused on all those negative things that I had did for years. And I know that you may be going through a situation where, you may feel the same way, like you're disabled. You know, you may have lost a child. You feel disabled. You don't want to move. You don't want to live. You know, you lost loved ones. You just feel like you're just at this place, and so because the pain, it, you know, we don't like pain, but then pain also becomes comforting. We learn to build these walls so that we can live within that place of pain, because it's all we know. But there is something greater. And I can't say, you know, even with the loss of a child, that it's easy to say, you know what, I'm going to accept it. I know that's not easy, but if we accept the fact that there are some things that we cannot change, and we allow God to do the work within us, He will begin to allow us to be free. Because I'm sure, like with the loss of a child, it's that feeling of regret, feeling, you know, maybe if I should have, coulda, woulda. You know, we can live our lives, you know, looking at these assumptions, or just trying to figure out, if I would have did this differently, would this would have been different. But for those things that we can't change, we have to accept them. And the only way that we can accept them is through accepting God's love for us, and know that He does not fail. Even if situations fail around us, He does not fail. And because He does not fail, He will not fail us. That He is always here for us, and He's always sending people around us to show us that He cares. Now, I am reminded this week of the story of Mephibosheth, where he was dropped when he was a baby. And he went away to a desolate place. And, you know, the story is that he goes, that King David hears of him, and he calls him to his table to eat. Now, the thing is, you know, a lot, you know, we get excited over the fact that, you know, we get to sit at the king's table. But the other part is that Mephibosheth was still disabled, even though he was at the king's table. Now, the truth is, although I have done the work to move myself from where I was to accepting, you know, my situation, I still deal with a disability, because it's easy for me to at any point begin to pull up walls again. That's easy. That's what I know. And it's easy to revert back to those things, because that disability does not leave. So the only way that we can change our disability, or not even change it, but know that disability is still there, but we work. So I work. So because I identify, I know, okay, when I start to feel this way, I do this. Then when that situation comes, I can change it. So I don't want to give too much on this week, because I really just want you to really think about those things, those situations that cause you to feel disabled. And you know what that feeling is. That feeling of hopelessness. That feeling of, you know, you just can't make it. You don't know, you know, how you're going to do it. You know, because you may have been dropped. You may have lost a job. You may have lost a loved one. You may, you know, things happen, and it just seems like I don't understand how these things happen, and we become disabled, and we develop these mechanisms that we use to protect ourselves. So this week, I'm just going to ask you to identify what those things are that you do to protect yourself. That's all. Not even accept, you know, where, you know, the situation, not even that, but just identify those things that cause those situations. When this happens, for me, because I didn't want to be hurt, when people would be friendly to me, I would develop walls, and I would only let people come. You're only going to come this close. Or, and I had to really think about it. Think about the situations when I did that. And, I had to learn when it was okay to put the walls down. Now, I don't let the walls down for everybody, but, you know, there has to be some thought into, if we're going to move, if we're going to exchange, if we're going to move out of the place where we currently are and get on that journey of self-love, we have to identify those negative things that we do that causes us to stay in a continual cycle. So let's break that cycle. Let's move on. And we're going to continue to love ourselves, because this is the season of love. And the greatest gift that you can give yourself this season, besides Jesus Christ, is to love yourself. Have a wonderful evening.